Thank you. We have the honor of introducing some of our trainees and medical students. We've got Ireayo, Shonibare, and Dr. Femi Talabi, and they want to spotlight the Culture Club, which is where the themes about music and movies are all discussed. Go on.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm Ireayo Shonibare, fourth year medical student at the University of Southampton.
Yeah, and I'm Femi Talabi. I'm a core psychiatry trainee at the East of England Deanery. It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
So we're both members of the Association of Black Psychiatrists UK Culture Club, and we're basically here to briefly discuss the ABP Culture Club and how we've been looking into the intersection between pop culture and psychiatry. However, let's just start by telling you a bit more about the Culture Club.
Okay, so the Culture Club was started in 2020, and 2020 was a very important year. It was a year that saw the public outcry about the murder of George Floyd. So the Culture Club was started as a way of providing a space to facilitate discussions themed on Black mental health and to also analyze its representation in the media. And of course, as we know, 2020 led to the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement. And there were also discussions everywhere just about racism, differential attainment, and disparities and things like that. So the Culture Club is a structured space that allows members to explore media narratives around Black mental health and to also discuss the impact of racism and racial trauma. And we also talk about our lived experiences. And our members include doctors of all grades. So we have consultants, registrars, ASJ specialists, core trainees, foundation year doctors, and we also have medical students on the page.
Our aim is to discuss films and documentaries that depict Black mental health whilst identifying themes relating to racism and racial trauma. So this is how we do it. We collate movies and documentaries from across the globe featuring the intersection of racism, racial trauma, and Black mental health. Then one movie or documentary is identified by our facilitator, and we would all go and watch them individually in preparation for our discussion. We would then meet up virtually at the moment due to the ongoing pandemic, and we would discuss the plot, the characters, any mental health correlations, and any emergent themes.
Okay, so before I go to the next slide, somebody asked that how do we join? So once you join the ABP, you can also join the ABP Culture Club, and everybody is welcome. So that's about that, yeah. So how do we link psychiatry to pop culture? I think in order to answer this question, we must define what pop culture is. And pop culture has been said to be the set of practices, beliefs, and objects that embody the most broadly shared meanings of a social system. And the pop culture can include things like the media, entertainment and leisure, fashion and trends, linguistic conventions, social media, etc. And it's been said that there is a bi-directional relationship between psychiatry and pop culture. So it's been said that sometimes pop culture feeds attitude to psychiatry, and also sometimes psychiatry is also replicated in pop culture. Yeah, and psychiatry has often had an uneasy relationship with pop culture due to the portrayal of mental illness. And it's been said that sometimes mental illness has been portrayed as being volatile with a lot of stigma and very inaccurate. And I'm sure that we've heard about movies like Psycho, for example, which is a cult hit that talked about Norman Bates killing his mom, wearing a skin and things like that. And we also know that mental health portrayals in pop culture can positively and negatively influence the attitudes of the general populace to mental illness and those diagnosed with mental illness. For example, it's been said that the portrayal of mental illness in Nollywood. Nollywood is the Nigerian film industry, has often led to people diagnosed with mental illnesses being stigmatized, being maltreated in a way. Yeah. So, I mean, when you look at all these factors, it's important that pop culture is centered in the discussions around mental health. And I think it's also important that psychiatrists and other people that are involved in the mental health space, that we actively take charge in discussing mental health in pop culture. I think there was a recent release about Facebook and the effect that Facebook was having, the effect that Instagram was having on the mental health of young girls, for example. So I think we should stand up and take charge. We should sort of like lead the general society. Yeah.
So what have we found? So far we've watched 13th, a documentary by Ava DuVernay, The Five Bloods, a movie by Spike Lee, and Red, White and Blue, a movie by Steve McQueen as part of the Small Axe series. And although the first two screenings are from across the pond in the United States, there are still clear themes that could be applied here and resonated with members of the team. From all three screenings, the themes that emerged were institutional racism and systematic racism, differential attainment, vicarious trauma, stigma, disproportionate use of legislation, and their impact on Black mental health and well-being. In conclusion, cinema, and hence pop culture, remains an impactful tool for having a social discourse on experiences relating to inequity, discrimination, as well as their impact on Black mental health. This could potentially provide avenues for education and improved understanding of lived experiences. Furthermore, research of these identified themes could also inform any future interventions.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to our short presentation. And I want to say we are very happy to take questions and we're happy to discuss things further. And if you're interested in joining the Culture Club, please join the ABP-UK and then join us through the association. Thank you so much. And thanks for the attention. Thank you, Ireayo.
Thank you.